Hey, what is up, teachers? This tutorial is to get you set up and started on Seesaw, so let's get to it. Okay, so when you go to Seesaw's page, this is usually the first thing that comes up, and if you are new to Seesaw, you would press sign up. And it's going to take you to this section, and you are going to say that you're a teacher, and then you are going to say your first, your last name, and then also your email, your password. If you wanted to sign up with Google, you could do that as well. Once your account is set up, then we can create students and all that good stuff. Now, once you get signed in, I'm already connected to a bunch of different classes, but you aren't because you're new to this. So if you're going to create a class, you would go up to your profile, and at the very top, you're going to see create a new class. It may also be in the very center of your page if you don't have any classes. When you do create a class, you're going to put your name, your class, and then you're also going to say what grade they are, and you'll hit the check up at the top. Okay, now before we go any further, we're going to have to add our students in, right? So at the very bottom, there's a plus students button. Save the idea of this QR code later. We will use that once we actually have our students added. But we're going to press add students here. And I'm going to type in, if students had an ID number in previous classes, you could type that in. But I usually just search them by their name. And I press look up student. Now sometimes what will happen is it will pop up a window and it will say, hey, here's the other Tommies that were in other classes in your district. Do you want to use one of those, or do you want to make a new Tommy? And you can decide if they were already in someone else's class a previous year in your district, you'll want to use them because then that parent email will already be attached to that account. But in my case, it's not. So Tommy is going to be added as a new student. And you could also change the icon of the student and all of that good stuff, or you could use a photo of them if you wanted to get really fancy. Okay, now I'm going to pretend all of my students are added to my class, so let's say that Tommy is the only student in my class. What I can do is I can press the plus button here again where it said add students, and I can have students scan this QR code in order to get signed in their devices. What I usually do though is I usually press print student sign-in poster, and then it will pull up the instructions for the teacher, but at the very bottom there's a picture down at the bottom, and I'm not going to show the whole QR code, but it doesn't matter because I'm going to archive this class. But on this screen, I would put this up in my classroom, or multiple copies in my classroom, or I could send this flyer home if I'm already on e-learning. So that way, students are able to sign in using this QR code. They would press I'm a student, sign in through that, then they would be able to choose their name when they're posting things on Seesaw. Now, one thing that's really important is to also connect families, because otherwise they're not going to be able to see the work that their child is doing. So on the very bottom, there's also a plus families button. When you press that, you can turn on family access, and then what you can do is for Tommy, I could invite his parent via email or a number, and that parent will get a text or an email saying that they've been invited to Mr. Thielen's class, and Tommy is going to be the student that they can view. So they can only see what their child is seeing from their account. Okay, now that you've got your students connected and families connected, the hard part is over. Now it's just creating and adding in assignments, putting things in student portfolios, all the fun stuff, right? So where do I go to learn about that? Click this link up above if you want to learn more about all of that good stuff. I walk through everything in that video. We'll see you guys next time.